Hello, everyone. I just want to make sure you can hear me nice and clearly. So just a show of hands to start with. How many people here have heard of the sharing economy? How many people have heard of the sharing economy? It's not a trick question, by the way. Hands right up in the air so I can see, get a good sense of, okay, well, I would say we're looking at about 60% of you have heard of the sharing economy. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about the sharing economy and about marketing to the future and the whole notion of how we now have a new generation of consumers that we call Generation Share. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to start very quickly with what is the sharing economy. Well, very basically, the sharing economy is a socio-economic system that is built around the sharing of human and physical resources. Many of you will have heard of brands like Airbnb and Zipcar and TaskRabbit and some of those other brands. And this is a way that people can access shared goods and services. So why share? Well, and why a need for a sharing economy? Well, there are over £3.5 trillion worth of unused resources in the world. That's everything from spare rooms to sports equipment and everything in between. And Generation Share are a generation of young people who believe that what they want to do is they want to access rather than own goods. Why have £3.5 trillion worth of stuff that's not being used when actually there are many people out there that could access that and put that to great use? So Generation Share, born to share. They're smart, savvy, and social. They have a conscience. They care. They're conscious consumers. It's very much about leading an aspirational lifestyle because through the sharing economy, you've got the opportunity to access the things that you need when you need them at a price that you can afford. So instead of owning a vehicle, instead of owning a car and having it sit in the driveway for 23 hours and 15 minutes a day, which is what happens, actually you just pay for what you use. You pay as you drive. And the benefits of that, by belonging to, say, a car club, are you get to make friends, it's kind on the planet, you lower carbon, but also you're connected, you're part of a wider community. And of course, you save lots of money because it's much cheaper to access what you need when you need it and just pay for what you use than it is to have the burden of ownership. So this is an aspirational group of young people who can access things that may have been previously unaffordable, but because you're only accessing them when you need them, you're only paying a fraction of the cost. So just to give you one example, there is a business called Girl Meets Dress. You need to look fabulous for a party, you can rent the dress for the evening, and the next day it's returned. It's not hanging in your wardrobe unused. Each of us in the UK has £3,500 worth of unused items in our cupboards. Generation Share are also interested in what we call reputation capital. It's all about recommendations, word of mouth. What do other people say about these goods and services? That's what Generation Share want to know. And it's about friendship and being part of a community. But it's also very efficient. I mentioned this whole idea of paying as you use, pay for what you need. But it's also on demand. It's a whole economy that is accessible from your smartphone. Access the things that you need when you need them at a price you can afford. So we estimate that there are 2 billion people globally that fall into this category of Generation Share. They're a subset of millennials. 70% of millennials are Generation Share, are driving the sharing economy and making these choices to access goods rather than own them. And of course, there's a huge potential because what we do know is that other 30% are interested in the idea of this lifestyle that they can access through the sharing economy. So a huge addressable market. So who are Generation Share exactly? Well, they're the 34% of the population that are choosing to rent rooms via Airbnb, to use websites like Compare and Share, which I'm going to talk about shortly. They're 25 to 34-year-olds. They're open-minded. They're tech-savvy. They're smart, social. They're an on-demand generation. They're educated, and they're entrepreneurial. And they like to have fun. They're very aspirational. This is about having fun. It's about good business. It's about having a positive impact on the planet. So it's also about being conscious. So what do? 30% of them have used sharing services to save money. I save £20,000 a year by accessing the sharing economy. So everything that I do, whether that's clothes swaps, whether that's car clubs, whether that's book exchanges, whatever it might be, I save £20,000 a year through the sharing economy. Now, 40% of Generation Share are using sharing services to earn income or to learn a new skill. So there are people who are earning thousands of pounds through the sharing economy, because what you're doing is you're taking the things that you have that you don't need. That could be a spare room. It could be clothing that's in your wardrobe. It could be any number of things that you have that you don't need. And actually what you're doing is you're sharing the life cycle of that product. So it has a positive impact on the planet. You're diverting goods from landfill, but you're making some cash for yourself. This generation would prefer to share rather than own. So this is about making a specific choice and saying, actually, I don't see any point in ownership. It's completely redundant. And this is a generation who see ownership as being absolutely redundant and not relevant to their lifestyles. 50% of Generation Share try products that support good causes. So there's this, one of the things that comes shining through with Generation Share is this idea of being purpose-driven, of having a heart, of caring how we spend our money, what we spend our money on. But at the same time, it's about connecting in community, making connections, having fun. That comes through very strongly. What do they tell us? They say, 57% of them say, they can find anything that they need to rent or borrow online. Anything that they need. 74% say that technology makes their lives easier. And 73% say that the sharing economy is important to them. Because what the sharing economy does is it enables them to access the things that they need when they need them at a price they can afford and have fun in the process. What do they say? They say, I can make the world a better place. I want it fast, and I want it now. I trust my friends more than experts. I'm social in nature, online and off. Now, traditional marketing doesn't work with Generation Share. They don't want to be sold at. They don't like spam. What they want is content. They want conversation. They want substance. They want to know that actually your brand has something worthwhile, that there's a purpose behind it, that it's in some way purpose-driven, and that there's something in it for everybody. It's about we, not me. Reviews and recommendations are essential for this group. Any of the sharing economy platforms, and there are now over 7,000 sharing economy platforms globally, the most successful ones, or only the successful ones, are those who have ratings and reviews. That's absolutely fundamental. If you're going to, for example, swap homes with someone, so do a house swap, you need to know that the person that you're swapping homes with is someone that you can trust. And trust is an incredibly important part of the sharing economy. So ratings and recommendations and reviews is absolutely a way that reputation capital spreads and people are able to access these goods and services by knowing that they're engaging with people who are trustworthy. Generation Share care very much what their friends think. That matters to them. And they reject corporate and mainstream media information. So this is not about traditional marketing tactics. What worked for baby boomers or Generation X does not work for Generation Share. They want to share. Because for Generation Share, sharing is the new shopping. That's what it is. It's the new shopping. So how did I get involved in the sharing economy? Well, I'm going to cut the story short because otherwise you'll be here all day and possibly all night. But I saw that there was a real need. I was going to book a holiday, a family holiday, and when we travel as a family, we like to travel like a local. We like to have a real experience, have fun, meet people, and really absorb ourselves in the culture of the place that we're visiting. We found that much more interesting. We're not a hotel kind of family. And I was searching online. I got 15 million hits on Google. I was tearing my hair out, which, as you can see, has never quite recovered. And I said there has to be a better way. Because actually, just as when I want to book an airfare, I go to a single site and I book my airfare. I don't have to trawl through hundreds of airline sites to find the flight I need. I go to a single place. And so the idea that struck me in that moment was to do exactly the same for sharing sites. And that's what Compare and Share is. So Compare and Share is the comparison marketplace of the sharing economy. It offers Generation Share a gateway, a way to access this whole lifestyle. So we have, for example, we have a directory, a global sharing economy directory with 7,377 listings. You can find everything from someone to walk your dog, right the way through to someone to brew their own beer for you, and everything in between. And that's what we do. We're a comparison marketplace of the sharing economy. We want to help people to share the things in their life simply. And our vision is to open up the sharing economy, a bit like eBay opened up the second-hand goods market. We want this to be discoverable. We want people to see and understand and appreciate and enjoy the benefits, the many benefits of the sharing economy. So what we're going to do now is I want to leave plenty of time for questions, because the sharing economy it's a very broad church, so to speak. It includes many things. It includes peer-to-peer lending. It includes crowdfunding. It includes exchanging, swapping. There are many different aspects of the sharing economy. And so I want to leave plenty of time for your questions. So I'm going to hand this microphone over, and let's just see what questions we have.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
Great presentation, Benita, thank you. And I browsed your website already, very interesting. I was just curious to know, in terms of feedback that you get from your users, what's the next opportunity in the sharing economy? What are they missing that they can't find in the marketplace?
So great question. And the feedback, we've actually just completed a very big user survey. So this is kind of very forefront of my mind. And what the users are telling us is that it's all about making this as simple as possible. So one of the things that we're doing and what's up ahead in Q1 next year for Compare and Share is that we're going to be building something called the One Share login. So a bit like Facebook, but essentially the idea is that if you had, say, a property that you wanted to list, you could come onto Compare and Share, you log in once, and we will list that for you on the sites that you want us to list it for you. So if, for example, you only want to have engaged, people of a certain age, or there's a specific sort of target market that you want to come and stay in your property, then actually creatives or techies or whoever it might be, you have got the opportunity to say, okay, well actually I would only want my property listed on these specific platforms. So it's an opportunity for you to be really specific about how you want to share. So that's one of the things, making it really, really easy.